I am the founder and CEO of Share Love Fund. This is an hour-and-a-half RPYT class, registered prenatal yoga teacher class. Please grab a glass of water or what you need to make you feel comfortable. I'm going to teach without any props today because our program is prenatal safe, but it's geared for incarcerated women, and I don't want anyone to feel limited to participate by what they have or don't have. And I want to thank all of you who have signed up for our course on Teachable, because your course fee not only is an investment in yourself, but it's also a way for us to provide valuable prenatal programming for the incarcerated women that we serve. So thank you so much. You are funding a degree for yourself, but you're also funding a degree for someone who really, really needs this, both to have a healthy pregnancy, but also to have a vocation should they be released. So let's get started. So if you're comfortable with grabbing a block or a cushion or something to sit on, if that makes you more comfortable, you're welcome to do so. You do not need anything fancy. You don't need a fancy bolster. You can use a pillow or whatever suits you, or you can just sit down on the ground. This class is going to be prenatal safe, not geared towards any particular trimester. So in a comfortable seated position, let's just take a few breaths together. In through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. So most of the people taking this course are actually pregnant, so I will guide you in that lens. But also we have instructors that want to get the specialty degree to teach pregnant people, and so I will also give teaching tips. So one teaching tip when you have pregnant clients is not to restrict their breath in any way. We're yoga teachers, we're not medical doctors, and while some of us might be medical doctors, the capacity in which you have a client in a group yoga setting is not the same patient-doctor relationship, and so in general, we advise it's not okay to have people restrict their breath in any way. So we'll encourage slow, deep breaths in the nostrils, out the mouth, or however the person feels comfortable. Maybe their nose is blocked. And to encourage deep breaths, I try to do guidance like, try to make each breath a little longer than the last one, to the point where it still feels comfortable. But I try not to give a countdown or really make rigid timing how long the inhale has to be and how long the exhale has to be, because everybody is coming with a different lung capacity, and it's really important that, especially for pregnant people, that their breath is not restricted. We don't want anyone to pass out. We don't want to restrict oxygen to the fetus and so forth. So in the nose and out the mouth. And as we're breathing, we can try to center our minds, try to bring it all inside, and really think about what brings us here today and what the goals are. So in the nose and out the mouth. With this, we can add a little movement on one side and then the other side. This is live and we do have some technical glitches sometimes, so I'm just gonna check my phone and see if it's all okay. And maybe it worked, maybe not. I'm just gonna make a few little changes while you are working on the breath. we'll just continue to breathe in the nose and out the mouth. Here, I'm just gonna set up one more thing. Okay, so the first class, what we did was we sort of got an overview of the RPYT. And then the second class, we introduced the sun salutation. And now this is the third class where we will bring in one of our signature 45 poses. So as we explained in the first class, the SHARE method, it doesn't have any tests or quizzes because it's geared towards incarcerated women, and it's based on repetition. But what does that mean for all of us not incarcerated, watching live on YouTube? Because to watch live means we're a free person. You don't get live stream in jail. So what does this mean for the rest of us? Then what it means for the rest of us is we're busy people. And each minute that we spend should be doing something for ourselves. Breathing, focusing on our posture, sitting. And so by having a method that is focused on repetition and focused on breathing and moving, then what it means is for the rest of us, every minute we spend in the teacher training, we're actually doing some type of yoga practice, and we're not spending time hunched over and studying because we have enough of that in our lives. And so I find this method really a nice learning through like kinetic training or movement versus cognitive training. And so I find it's a nice method that works for everyone. So anyway, let's rainbow our arms across, and we'll start to create space in the rib cage. So when you're pregnant, it is okay to go side to side. What we will not do, so definitely don't do this, but we won't twist. So the twists are not good, but like going forward or going side to side works. If you're very pregnant and this easy seat doesn't feel good for you, a modification can be like this, or a straddle, or if you're sitting on a block, you can sort of give yourself a little tilt, and sometimes that can create comfort. But to the extent easy seat is comfortable for you, we'll just rainbow our arms back and forth and creating space. And every time the body stretches, it is also contracting, and we can sort of think about that and the balance of yoga, that it's give and take. We can create some space on this side, but then we're restricting space on this side. So depending on how pregnant you are, please be gentle. Sharp shooting pain is never a good thing. And if it hurts, that's stop. These are messages our body's telling us. So everything we do today should feel good, and if it doesn't, then just take it down a notch. So while we can't twist when we're pregnant, our torso, we can twist our neck. We're not pregnant in our throat. So please feel free to put your head to one side. And while you're doing this, you can use your finger to have your eyes follow across the room. Because it sounds silly, but one of the things we don't stretch a lot is our eyes. And when we're looking at a monitor so much, we can lose a little bit of our peripheral vision. So it's nice to just sort of give yourself an eye stretch. Then we'll move our head to the other side. You can lean your neck to one side for a stretch. Add some weight to it if that feels good. And then use your breath to create space. So as you exhale, see if dropping your neck a little more helps. And you can put it all the way around like a half circle. We'll inhale, back tall, and exhale, stretching the neck. So the first pose in our series of 45 poses, and each week will be a pose. Our first pose is easy seat. So that can be crisscross applesauce for advanced people. That can be lotus pose. And as we said, for prenatal modification, can be like this, or leaning forward, or sitting on a block. And the idea is that it's just a place of rest, of contemplation. I like to put my palms up when I kind of want to receive or get in touch with the world. And then putting the palms down helps us center our focus. And we can do a brief meditation here. You can say something that serves you. I'll give a suggestion, and if it works for you, you can use it. But when I was pregnant, and I'm the mother of 3 children, someone told me I was complaining a little bit about being pregnant, and I was really uncomfortable. And she said, this one person said, "Oh, I loved every minute of my pregnancy because I was teeming with life." And so I thought about that, and that made me feel empowered. And instead of saying, "Oh, look, I have to carry this around," I thought, "Oh, look, I'm teeming with life." Like, it took my burden and made it a blessing. And so if this also makes you feel good, then that's something we can breathe and say together. I'm teeming with life. I'm teeming with life. I'm teeming with life. You can meditate on that, or another positive thought, or just focusing on your breath and trying to clear the thoughts. And we'll just focus on being still. Now, one caveat about being still while you're pregnant is circulation is more difficult. You have more blood in your body. And so whenever I say be still, that really comes with the caveat of, first and foremost, use your own good judgment. And discomfort is our body sending us a message. So first and foremost, your body and your brain are your best teachers, and your judgment too. So feel empowered and trust yourself. And then, to the extent that it's working for you, I'm going to also give you guidance and cues, but those do not trump the restrictions that your body is telling you. So we'll be still, but don't be still if it's not serving you, but we'll be still for a few minutes. Just try to breathe. I'm teeming with life. As we breathe, we'll try to have the top of our head parallel with the ceiling, and kind of take out any nooks and crannies in our neck. And as prenatal yoga teachers, which you all will be from this training, it's important to recognize the anxiety level for a lot of pregnant people. We saw this during COVID, especially the isolation. There are relationship struggles, and everything sort of seems to be exasperated when our daily struggles are added to the context of being pregnant. So I think a huge benefit that yoga teachers, prenatal yoga teachers, can offer their students is helping to de-escalate some of that anxiety. So we've spent quite a while just sitting in easy seat, the theme of our class, and that's intentional. Because when we get nervous, sometimes the tendency is to just do stuff. But also, as a pregnant person, there's a limited amount of energy. Pregnancy is very exhausting. There's one book that said something like being pregnant, I think maybe in the first trimester, I'm not sure, but in the beginning where you don't really get credit for being pregnant, but you're feeling all the things. It said that it was like doing a mountain hike every day. So if you feel exhausted when you wake up, maybe it's because your body feels like it's just hiked up a mountain. So this being still, it's restorative. And also, in stillness, we can reflect and we can respond instead of react. And we can make more thoughtful decisions that are going to help us reach our end goal. So by running around, it keeps us busy, and maybe it's a coping mechanism with anxiety, but it doesn't really solve anything. So in being still, in being comfortable, finding comfort in the uncertainty, making peace with the fact that bodies are changing and that we don't have a lot of control over it, and being still to allow yourself to realize that and just accept it without reacting, that's empowerment. With this, we'll inhale with our arms up as a seated upward salute, and exhale with our arms down. You can walk your hands forward, sort of as a seated forward bend. And if you do have a larger belly at this time, you can use a prop or a pillow or something like this, and lean forward. And then we'll inhale with our back straight, like this, and exhale and come down to our knees. Here we'll do cat-cow, and this is okay for prenatal because it's not a twist. So there's a difference between bending the spine and twisting the spine. So here in the cat-cow, you can have your toes underneath you, which I like for stability, or you can have your toes down. I don't recommend wearing socks for pregnant people, or really anyone, but one sort of yoga risk is slipping. So by not wearing socks, we have better traction. So here, I invite you, if it is floating your boat, then I encourage you to continue thinking, I am teaming with life. And if it's not inspiring you, then you can focus on your breath, or you can think about what does inspire you. And we'll just do these cat-cows. Inhale with the spine up, and exhale, trying to draw the belly down. Inhale with the spine up, and exhale, drawing the belly down. Inhale, and exhale. So one thing you can do without restricting your breath, but you can try to do some cat-cows not thinking about your breath, or using your breath in the opposite way, and see if it makes a difference. Like now I'm just talking and I'm doing this, and to me it kind of feels perfunctory. It doesn't really seem like there's a point to it. Or if I use my breath the other way, like it's hard to do. I can't even, if I try to inhale, no, wait, I don't know. I can't do it. I can't pat my head and rub my stomach, so I don't know. I can just inhale like this and exhale like this. But if you want, you can try to do the opposite and see if it works for you. I'm gonna just like spend a minute and see if I can do this. Okay, so the way that you're sort of working with the forces of nature is to inhale with your spine up and exhale with your spine down. So inhaling, spine up, exhaling, spine down. So now I'm going to try to exhale, spine up, inhale, down. Okay, it's not impossible, but you can try it both ways and see what you think. But the idea is that when we are yoga teachers teaching how to connect our breath with movement, inhale, spine up, exhale, spine down. When we're trying to teach that, and here, I'm gonna lean back and encourage you to do child's pose so you get off your wrists a little bit so we don't put too much tension on the wrist. Prenatal child's pose can have your legs apart and leaning forward. You can also be on your forearms if that's more helpful. But the idea with the share method and just being a yoga teacher in general is if what we're doing actually resonates, then you'll be able to teach it naturally. If it makes sense, then it's not going to be something you have to memorize. So I try not to have our yoga teacher trainees memorize the cues of how to pair the breath with the movement, because through practice, if we pair the breath with the movement and it just feels logical, then you'll just naturally teach it in the way that feels logical, and it'll sort of be like driving to the grocery store without remembering the street names. Like, you know how to get there and you can deliver the message, and even without being so conscious about each little part. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that's the idea, is that if it makes sense, you won't have to memorize it and regurgitate it. You'll just know it and it comes out naturally. So we'll take an exhale and we'll do child's pose. And here we'll just take a few breaths and trying to get the sacrum back, let it fall, and thinking about a long spine. Now, if you are very pregnant, what you can do, if you have a block, you can put a block under your forehead, or you can use your forearms for stability. Here, we can walk our arms to the one side and feel that same stretch that we were doing with rainbow arms. This is not a twist, again, because it's not like, it's just, basically, as long as your front, like all of your torso is facing forward, then it's not a twist. It's a side to side, or an up and back like we did with cat-cow. What we don't want, so I guess the idea is like we're keeping the belly in line and centered with the hips. So as long as we keep the belly centered with the hips, we're okay. Because that is keeping that centered. When we're here, that is keeping that centered. So we really just, that's, I guess, like what the focus is like keeping that midline centered. And when we're doing the cat-cow, again, we're keeping that centered. What's not okay is when we start to like moving that belly other places. So I guess we can think of our belly buttons as a flashlight, and we just want to keep that flashlight forward to be safe. So we'll walk our hands a little bit to the side to feel the stretch in the rib cage and create a little space. But we will keep in mind that we really want that flashlight of the belly button to go forward. We can come back to center. And you can put your head down if that feels good, as long as there's space on the belly. We're not ever resting on our stomachs like a tripod. And, you know, we're trying to create space with breath and not squish our bellies. We'll walk over to The other side with our fingers, keeping the belly button flashlight forward. And we'll take a few breaths here. Thinking about setting the glutes into the heels. And we'll move because maybe your feet are asleep. And we're just gonna kind of shake it out because circulation is an issue when we're pregnant. And self-massage can feel really relieving. So you can have a foot massage anytime you want on demand when you do it yourself. So it might feel good to bring your feet together like butterfly and then try to open up your feet like you're reading a book. So we do this with the kids. We say like, oh, what does your book say? So my book says, congratulations for making the effort today. And you can just open up your feet and read it like a book. And take a few breaths here. And here we can sort of play on the theme of cat-cow and kind of draw our feet forward and create that space in the spine and draw our feet away. If your wrists and feet feel tingly from what we did, you can kind of dance it around and we can play with this cat-cow theme. Stretch, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Can relax the neck a little more. Inhale and exhale. It is okay to work on core strength. So here we are sort of in boat pose. So if it feels good to engage those stomach muscles, go for it. And if it doesn't, you can also keep your feet firmly grounded, but just lift your hands up and just kind of experiment with getting in touch with those stomach muscles. And this is something that we will focus on more in the postpartum class. We have a postpartum YSAP, the YACEP, Yoga Alliance Continuing Education provider. And in the YSAP course, it's cute. We have some mommy and baby yoga and some postpartum exercises, so we can play around with this. Okay, so for now, we'll lengthen our legs really, really long and kind of walk them out. You can create some friction, and that also can help with circulation. And we'll lift our arms up, drop the shoulders, and kind of play around with leaning forward a little bit, like little dips. If it feels better to bend your knees for support, you can. You can also widen your legs. And it's all good. You know, having your legs straight is a really nice hamstring stretch. But having your knees bent and keeping your spine long is really nice for your spine. So as long as you don't have sharpshooting pain, it's all good. It's an hour and a half to just listen to your breath, do some movements, clear your mind. So there's no prize at the end except you feeling good about you serving your own needs. So we'll do some little dips. And if it feels good, we can inhale and round our spine, bringing it all around to our comfort level. If it feels good to touch your toes, you can. And you can sort of like walk one side and then the other. Doing something like this, you can, as long as like your belly button, like the flashlight, is pointing forward, you can get a deeper stretch in one side of your back or the other. And it's not a twist because your stomach is facing forward. You can get a little bit deeper by pedaling out your feet. It also helps to do some of these seated stretches because sometimes when we do this standing up, we can feel a little more lightheaded. So we'll just take a few minutes to really breathe into that. With an inhale, we'll bring our arms up and we'll shake it all out. So if you want a drink of water and need to go to the restroom, this can be a good time because what we'll do is we'll go into some little exercises. So we did cat-cow and we warmed up the spine, up and down. Now what we can do is we can build some strength. So by putting one leg out, engaging the core. And this is a way to do balancing poses without really the risk of falling because we're pretty close to the ground. If you feel comfortable, you can take the opposite arm, it's the opposite leg, and put it out. And if you want, you can pulse a little bit, and we can pulse 10 times. We can also put our hand down, try to bring it out, and try to bring this out 10 times. If you feel heavy on your wrist, use it as an opportunity to really engage your core and try to lift up. Like imagine you don't even need your wrists, that your upper body could just support it all. We'll come down to our knees and we'll just breathe in to give our wrists a little break. We'll hold on one wrist, lean to one side, keeping our shoulder down, engaging our core, engaging our glutes, and leaning to the other side. Shake it out, inhale, and we'll come back to cat-cow. And see if your spine feels a little more looser now that we've done this. Let's take a little circle together. So we're gonna do cat-cow, but when our spine is up, we're gonna lean to one side and all around. We're just sort of doing around the world here, kind of getting into those nooks and crannies. So again, this isn't a twist, it's like a lean, but our belly is still centered between our hips. So we'll do that and then we'll do it on the other side. And then we'll come down and stretch. And the thing with yoga is it's very little, it's very subtle, but doing this 5 minutes a day does more than doing it an hour once a month, let's say. So these little things, it really does build up for spinal flexibility, and that actually helps with injury prevention. So when we worked with Ukrainians who were fighting, we worked a lot on spinal flexibility because, God forbid, if they have an injury, of course, yoga is not magic. It can't solve all problems, but having a flexible spine sort of gives you the best. It just is like a factor that can help mitigate injury a little bit. When we think of a cat, how they can kind of jump and fall and land on their feet, you know, that's spinal flexibility, and we call this cat-cow. So We'll do that, and then we'll inhale, we'll bring the other leg up, engaging our core, wrists under our shoulders, and we can bring our other arm up, and we'll do 10 little dips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we'll bring it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we'll bring it back and we'll go into child's pose. So again, that's knees apart, inhale, and leaning forward. Again, if you are very pregnant, you might want to rest your head on a block, or you can use your forearms. But assuming that you're not resting on your belly with your legs apart, we can just rest like this for a minute. When you feel ready, we can come up into up dog. So here, we are not on our belly, and we're squeezing our glutes, and we can push back into downward dog and pedal out our feet a little bit. You can lift the leg up and down. Pedal out our feet a little more. Lift the leg up and down. And then making the core tight. Walk, walk, walk. Your hands back. Breathe in and exhale. So now you may have a little heat in your body. I certainly do. Thank you to Aloe Yoga for this crop sweatshirt. But I don't need it anymore because now I'm all warmed up and we are in share love fund mode and for our hour of actual work. So the last class that we did, we taught the sun salutation, and then as I said before, this class and subsequent classes will learn a pose of our 45 poses. Every 9 poses, we will do a review. We'll have 5 reviews total, so 45 poses plus 5 reviews is 50 lessons. Your first lesson was an intro. Your second lesson was sun salutation A, so that makes 52 lessons. It can be done in 52 weeks, which is what we do for our incarcerated women's program, or the beauty of on-demand is you can do it as you please. So now we get into our lesson. So each time we're going to review what we've done in the past, and then we're going to build on that. That way you don't have to print the 300-page manual, you don't have to study anything, but you'll know everything like the back of your hand. So I'll come to this top of the mat, sneak in a drink of water. Please feel free to excuse yourself as you need. And we are going to review the sun salutation that we did last time as modified for prenatal. So the first position is mountain pose, or Tadasana. And the modification for pregnancy is that normally we have feet hip width apart. Sometimes in pregnancy, you want your feet a little wider, just for balance. Sometimes you want to bend the knees a little bit. You know, we don't want anyone to pass out. So sometimes when knees are locked or feet are too close together, we don't want to teeter over. So, assuming everyone's feeling good, have your feet a comfortable distance apart. Add some bounce to your knees if that feels good, and we'll do Tadasana. In Tadasana, one thing that I like to do for balance is to really think of your feet as monkey feet, just like grabbing the mat. How do monkeys balance so well? They literally hold onto the ground or a branch with their feet as if they're hands. So you can think of your feet as hands too, and really ground it in. In Tadasana, it seems like we're doing nothing, but you can actually burn quite a bit of calories right like this. So we can think of pulling our glutes together, engaging our core. We can think of our thighs as turning out while the glutes turn in. And so like we're rolling out our legs, just like squeeze it, roll it out. When I was skiing, my instructor said, imagine, a feather in your glutes. So you're like holding on to your Dumbo feather, rolling out your legs, remembering to breathe, squeezing that ground like monkey feet, holding onto the ground like as if it's a bar and you could, swing on it. That's how much we're holding on with our toes. Really gripping it, rolling out, tightening, gripping, remembering to breathe. In our nose, out our mouth, rolling our shoulders back. Thinking about our posture and stacking it. Eyes soft, gaze ahead. Our head level with the top of the mat. Thinking of having a string on the top of our head, making us tall. Tadasana, mountain pose. If you feel like your shoulders are forward and you're slouched, you can just like roll them back. Roll them back. So, Tadasana. Feet grip to the ground. Thighs rolled outward. Glutes engaged. Spine stacked. There's a natural curve of the spine. Goes in and out. Shoulders back. Neck lengthened. Chin up. Eyes soft gaze. If you have a tendency to clench, you can kind of remind yourself to soften your jaw by giving it a little self-massage. Tadasana. Then with our breath, we go upward salute, like, wow, like you're just taking it all in. So thinking of taking it all in and thinking of welcoming the world, this is an example of not having to remember that upward salute is breathing in. Like if it just feels naturally that you just want to absorb it all, then it's less to memorize. And then with forward fold, if it just feels naturally that you would just exhale and let it all go, then that is a way to remember that forward fold is an exhale. So we'll exhale and forward fold. Here we have a round back. If it's not comfortable for you, or if you feel unbalanced, you can, like hold on to something, even kind of use like a wall or a bar, the side of the bed, and then we'll exhale. So let's just do those three poses again and just like really nail it. Almost all of you guys are YT 200s already. I know this seems really basic, but when else do you have time to focus on the fundamentals? And there's a lot to them. So it's all about foundation. So Tadasana, we're gonna work it. And this is a great thing to just feel our legs rolling out, feel our glutes tightening, our core engaged, our shoulders back. We're really working our lower body. We're really relaxing, kind of like the neck up, making it long but relaxed. And for most of us, we're so busy, we don't have enough time to exercise. And this is something where at the grocery store, you can just do Tadasana like it's nobody's business. And you can really work even your whole back. Pregnancy is a lot, the added weight is a lot of strain on our backs. A lot of people have back problems. A lot of the back stretches we do and the back strengthening exercises we do in yoga, a lot of them are harder to do when we're pregnant. It's harder to do bow pose. Well, you can't do bow pose when you're pregnant because you can't lay on your stomach like that. So how are you gonna work your back if you can't do bow pose? Well, you can strengthen your back by really engaging these back muscles in Tadasana. So this is a way we can strengthen our back muscles. So we're in Tadasana, gripping the ground, and then we inhale to let it all in upward salute, and we exhale it all in forward bend, letting it all hang out. We can pedal out our feet a little bit, like bending one leg and then the other to get a little deeper stretch. If you feel lightheaded, come out of this. Do not stay upside down longer than it serves you. If you don't feel lightheaded, then this is an opportunity to just get into those hamstrings. It takes a long time to stretch. It can be a little bit boring. So if we stay in poses a while, that's kind of what it takes. You know, people come to me and they say, I want to be a pretzel. And I say, okay, anyone can do it. It is really boring, but let's get started together. So if you feel bored, it's because stretching is kind of boring. So good for you to recognize that. Okay, so in forward fold, then we inhale and we do half bend. What is the point of half bend? The point is that we're supposed to engage our abs. So we have a straight back, and then we exhale and go into plank. Here we are working our glutes, our back, our abs, and we can do a little like knees, chest, chin. Doesn't really work when we're pregnant. The modification for this is to have our hands on blocks so that when you come down there's more space. I like to teach without any equipment because I don't think it's empowering to feel like you can't work out if you don't have this or that. So we're going to sort of skip the chaturanga and go straight into up dog. And from up dog, we're going to do down dog. From down dog, we're going to just like play a little around with this. So let's start with our legs wide to make room for the belly and bend our knees. And the idea is to really think of your back as a straight line, like a ski slope. Or I guess not like a ski slope, but like kind of like the cheese mat, like a wedge of cheese. Okay, you don't really want it like rounded. You want like a wedge of cheese. So when that back is straight, then you can play around with straightening the legs. It's okay to have the heels up. And you can kind of like pedal out one leg or the other. And really think cheese, I guess. Not soft cheese, not what your doctor didn't tell you or have it. I'm not a doctor, so I can't tell you what you can and can't have. I can just remind you to use your own good judgment and consult professionals. So we're in down dog. And we're really thinking about our tailbone to the ceiling and long spine. And we're pedaling out the backs of our legs, aging our stomach, and trying to create a little heat here. So from here, we can walk our hands back and come up to upward salute and lean our hands forward, inhale up, and exhale down. And have half bend And from half bend, come up. And we're in Tadasana. So now let's do that like a flow, okay? So we'll come to the top of the mat, have some water, or do what you need to recenter. And we'll just try to get a little flowy on this. So I'm not going to say the cues as much, or who knows what will happen, but the idea is now we'll think about more of the flow with Sun Salutation A. And this is a review of last week. So Tadasana, standing straight, feet firmly grounded to the floor, eyes soft gaze. Inhale, upward salute, arms up, shoulders down, back and abs engaged. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come up slightly, back straight. Exhale, walk your legs down to plank, come to plank in a way that feels good for you. We're gonna skip knees, chest, chin, and just come straight into up dog. And we're gonna skip cobra, just to be prenatal safe. From up dog, we're going to push our hands wide into the mat, into downward dog, thinking of ourselves as a piece of cheese. Bend your knees if necessary to get that spine in like a line ray, I guess. Then from this, we're gonna step our feet forward this time and just hang in forward fold. Breathe in, back straight with half forward fold. Come up with your arms all the way up and exhale, Tadasana. So that was one time, and now we're going to do the Sun Salutation 3 times in a row as modified for prenatal, just to get the hang of it. Tadasana, feet firmly grounded. Inhale, upward salute, arms up. Exhale, come forward into a forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold, back straight. Exhale, this time you can step your right foot back, left foot back into plank. In plank, we'll drop our knees, uncurl our toes, and come into up dog for more of a spinal stretch. Exhale into down dog. We'll stay with the theme of our right leg and bring our right leg forward and our left leg forward and hang out in forward fold with an exhale. Inhale, half forward fold. Inhale some more, upward salute, and exhale. So that's a little flaw, I guess, with our routine. So it kind of requires a double inhale. Wait, sorry, we're gonna do this 2 more times in a row. Tadasana, upward salute, forward fold, half bend, left leg back, come to plank, up dog, down dog, left leg forward, half up, forward fold, half bend, upward salute, Tadasana, and we'll go right into the next one. Inhale, upward salute, exhale, forward fold, right leg back, plank. I think I forgot half forward fold. Well, you know it's live and authentic, so it's a practice, not perfect. We'll bring our right leg forward, our left leg forward fold, half forward fold, upward salute, Tadasana, and we'll do this again with the left side, and then that will be enough of this. Inhale, exhale, let it all out. Inhale, half bend. Exhale, bring left leg back, plank, up dog, down dog, left leg forward, right leg forward, half bend, upward salute, and bring it down. Okay, so now let's do some other balancing poses. If you don't feel comfortable to do balancing because you're pregnant, then there's modifications. You can come down to a knee and things like that. But basically what I find is sort of like use it or lose it kind of thing. So the more consistent we are with our normal activities, then the more likely we are able to maintain those activities. Nothing here shall be construed as medical advice. I'm not a doctor, as said. I will say that the general school of thought is the things that you've been doing before you're pregnant, like some people can handle that while they're pregnant, but if you've never done something before you're pregnant, then generally it's not recommended to start that. So it's like if you've never done a handstand, then it's probably not a good idea to do your first handstand while you're pregnant, kind of thing. So if anything we're doing today is like you've never done it before, then maybe skip that and then try when you're not pregnant. But just little balancing things, like we can just bring a leg up and do a quad stretch. And our center of gravity is off when we're pregnant. So it just tends to work all these stabilizer muscles, and you just really get into like the nooks and crannies of all these muscles, you know, trying to balance when you're pregnant. So that's why I like it. If it doesn't feel good, you know, you can hold onto a wall or something like that. This stretch is also, you know, you can do these stretches seated. So this is the same stretch. So you don't need to be standing. And even kneeling, this is still a balancing pose, you know. It does require some balance. So you can do this kneeling or standing, but the idea is that we're just gonna try to get a good quad stretch. And the benefit is that sometimes we feel so restricted pregnant, but by stretching, you can create space within the space that you already have. So it doesn't require any more space, it just feels like more space. So we stretch it, and then you can shake it out. And then we can come to the other side and stretch that, trying to point the knee down, the top of the head up. Thinking about those monkey feet and really using your feet to grab the ground. And again, if standing up didn't work for you, this is something we can do kneeling, and really try to have a straight back, eyes soft, gaze ahead. And play around with that. So another stretch we can do is to bring the knee in, but kind of to the side. So this is sort of the precursor to the hand and foot, but we can just today kind of think about this and bringing it out. So with balance, it really matters to focus your mind. And so this is a way, balancing poses when we do have anxiety when we're pregnant and there's a lot we're thinking about, can't really juggle all those thoughts in balance. So balancing is a way to clear your mind, sort of sink or swim. So your body doesn't want you to fall, so it'll clear your mind. So this is a way to get focused. In our RPYT, we also teach balance as a way to strengthen focus for ADHD kids and really for everyone. So balance is a jump start to clarity of mind and focus. And again, there's no magic to yoga. These are just like little subtle things. It doesn't cure ADHD. It doesn't immediately make your mind clear. It's just like little subtle things that help get you a little more focus and stuff like that. Baby steps. We'll shake it out. And here we'll try to do it kneeling as well. So you can actually even maybe not balance, but just kind of get the benefit of the stretch. And we can do that by having one hand on one hip and then gently pushing the knee out. And it can just stretch that inner thigh. We can add to that by little rainbow arms and rainbow arms. Let's try this on the other side. So we can bring our knee in like this and just kind of stretch it out, thinking about balance, engaging our core. You can pick a focal point on a wall and remember to breathe. It's a practice, not a perfect. And just feel all the little muscles recalibrating to try to keep your balance. You can think about the mantra we were saying earlier, I am teeming with life. You can imagine yourself standing tall on a mountain, the clouds rolling by, your hair blowing in the wind, and you saying, I am teeming with life, and you are. And even if you're not pregnant, we're all alive, we're all teeming with life, we're all on a journey. And when you feel ready, you can shake it out, and we can try it on our knees as sort of a stretch, gently putting one hand on one hip, one on the other. Taking a breath, honoring our practice. Lean our hand one way, and lean our arm the other way. And coming back to a seated position. So on our knees, if this hurts your knees, then you can come to easy seat, which was our crisscross applesauce, or for more advanced, it could even be lotus. But if this doesn't hurt your knees, we can just do this quad stretch. So believe it or not, sitting like this is a stretch. And it's interesting, like when I work with men or even my husband, it's hard for them to really lengthen the top of their foot like this. So I don't know if it shows up on the camera. So even sitting like this, it's stretching like the whole top of your foot. So you don't need to do big, huge things with yoga. There's little benefits all around. So if you are reading a book, you can sit like this. If you have other kids and you're doing a puzzle with them, you can sit like this. If you're really pregnant, you can widen your legs and sit like this and, do the puzzle with them or check your email, but just, be careful you don't put too much tension on your shoulders. So this is stretching our quads, and it's stretching the back of our foot. This is also helping us get into good posture, so we can play around with hip tilt, just like we did with the cat-cow, which is an important spinal exercise. So you can kind of play around with that. So by doing these two extremes, you can sort of see where your equilibrium is and try to find a comfortable place. You can breathe in, exhale. To help you find your equilibrium, you can inhale with your arms up and let it go. Roll the shoulders back and put the palms up. I'm going to get us out of this pretty quickly because I know if you're pregnant, your feet may be asleep, so we'll tap our feet, make some noise, give yourself a foot round of applause, and you can kind of shake it out like this, or we can come back to that cobbler pose where we give our feet a little self-massage. And the great thing about self-massage of your feet is that you're not going to tickle yourself. So you can actually get a deeper massage on demand for free just by doing your self-massage. You can open up the book of your feet, just like roll it out and say, oh, what does it say? It says I'm terrific today. Give yourself a pat on the back and give yourself a little deeper of the foot massage. And that's a really, really nice reward. So here, let's stretch a little more. So by stretching one side at a time, we can get a little deeper into the stretch. And so we're going to lengthen one leg, and instead of doing the full straddle, we'll do the half straddle. When we do this half straddle, we'll kind of lean forward and into it and really get that stretch. Bring the belly forward and the back straight. Because when you're pregnant, sometimes if you lean forward too much, you might feel like you're gonna fall over. But it's that curvature day in and day out that puts pressure on your back in ways that your back isn't used to it. So by being on the ground, we can shift the weight forward. We're not gonna fall because we're right here on the ground. And this is a way to not only stretch the inner leg, but also allow your back and spine to be a little more stacked. So let's just breathe here for a minute. And you can kind of play around with leaning back and forward. And we'll just stay here a little bit just to let that tightness in our inner thigh and the back of our knee and our hamstring to just let it stop fighting and just surrender. And that takes about 90 seconds. As you breathe, you can think, I'm teeming with life. Breathe in your nose and out your mouth. And if your knee is lifted, you can just remind yourself, like, what's holding it up? I'm not afraid of falling. What if I just let go? And obviously, you know, there's tightness and stuff. It's not just going to drop. But when you think about it in that context, like, I'm not going to hold on to it anymore. I'm just going to let myself stretch. Then you might find you get a little deeper into the stretch. Some of our tightness is preemptive, like anticipatory anxiety, kind of like, oh, I'm tight, this is not going to work. So we're still not going to, you know, bend every which way. And frankly, if we did bend every which way, that wouldn't be healthy either, and we could injure ourselves. So there's still going to be restrictions, but some of the restrictions we feel are because of our mind preemptively restricting us. So sometimes if we just quiet our mind and breathe and see how our body just lays itself, then we actually get to stretch the actual ligament, and we're not harboring any tension. We're just doing a stretch. So anyway, good job. That was at least 90 seconds. So now we'll do the other side. So we'll, it's like seated straddle, but we'll do half seated straddle. We'll bring one leg in. We'll play around with this cat-cow and try to make an observation about if one side is tighter than the other side and how that feels. And while you're thinking about if one side is tighter than the other side, you know, you can think about your habits. If you find that one side is substantially tighter than the other, you know, kind of what do you do on each side? You know, do you hold your purse on one side? I notice, for example, and please stay in this, unless it hurts, then modify. But I notice that for my kids' shoes, I always bend this leg and kneel like this, and I tie their shoes like this. Like I sit on this one foot. I don't know if you can see, and this is how I tie their shoes. And so my left side was feeling a lot different than my right side. So then I thought, okay, I'm going to try to tie their shoes on the other side. Which of course doesn't happen because, you know, real life means that we can't really think about yoga every second. But these are little subtle things that we can think about as, you know, you try to optimize yourself. We have ourselves for our whole life, and so why not invest in yourself, get to know yourself, optimize yourself. It's the one investment that you will appreciate the benefits for your whole life. So you will always have you, so why not invest in it? So we'll do some of this cat-cow seated down and really try to lean forward and try to let go. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to? Is one side tighter than the other? Why? And get to know yourself, because it's your most important investment. So with this, we can breathe, we can put our feet together again, do a little butterfly for circulation, a little foot massage, open our feet to read our foot book. We'll lean, we'll breathe in, let it all out, and then we'll come to our backs. So when you're pregnant, it's not good to be on your back too long. So just use your own judgment and, you know, move when you need to. So we can straighten our legs and put our arms up behind us. And then
put one leg up and our arms up. What we will not do not do this. Absolutely don't do this. We're not going to twist. We're not doing that, okay? So basically the same leg and the same arm go up together. I just want to say something. You can stay on your back, but when we did this and we did opposite leg and arm, that wasn't twisting. Like our belly stayed straight on the ground. So that's why we're able to do opposite leg and arm. This is different because unless you're absolutely sure that this arm is going to like stay in its zone, there's just too much of a risk of twisting. So it's like same leg, same foot. Okay, so we can do this on the other side. If it feels better to bend your knee, you can. And we can just kind of lean forward. We can bring our knees up. And here, try to imagine trying to get your whole neck on the mat. Like our head isn't really made that way. So unless you're really crazy flexible, I don't think it's most of us, there's space between our neck. But you can think about bringing your chin in and trying to play around with like rolling your back. And you can kind of try to play around with trying to have your neck connect with the whole surface of the mat. That's like an aspirational goal. With this, you can inhale and put your legs up. Now, this might just be enough for people. Might also be this. It might just be this, and that's fine. The only thing is, if you feel like you're on your back too much, then roll over, because you don't want to spend too much time on your back. So, assuming we're like this, we're just gonna do 10 little core exercises. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we'll bring our knees in, down, and then we're going to come to the side. We're going to come to the side so we don't spend too much time on our back. So here we can sort of do good old Jane Fonda and work the back of the legs. Sometimes feeling strong is a really good counter to some of the uncertainties of pregnancy. Also, by actually like working a little bit and sweating a little bit, that also helps counter anxiety. So we can do 10 of these. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we can stretch and stretch and bring it up. Do 10 kick forwards. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll come up and we'll go to the other side. And we'll do 10 of these, keeping our core engaged, our glutes. 1, 2, 3. If you can, try to not like collapse, but also don't strain yourself. And also, I don't know what you're physically used to before you're pregnant. And as I said, the general rule is don't engage in more strenuous activity while pregnant than you've been doing before you're pregnant. So in general, the rule is you can maintain your activity level, but not to increase it. That said, I'm not a doctor. Nothing here shall be construed as medical advice. Please consult a doctor
use your own good judgment. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we'll go forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, we'll bring it in and we'll go back to our back. That was just some things that we're not on our back too long. So we'll bring our legs up again and we'll do 10 more of these leaning forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we can slowly bring our legs down and slowly bring them up. And do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Slowly bringing our legs down and slowly bringing them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and slowly bringing our legs down and slowly bringing them up. I cheated a little bit. Last round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can bring your knees down and we'll rock it out in happy baby. So making room for the belly. You can grab the outside of your legs. You can grab your big toes. And without twisting, we're just going side to side and rolling out our spine. If it's more comfortable, you can do a half happy baby, like this, or a full one. And just really thinking about having a long spine to the ground. You know your own body, and it varies also how pregnant you are, but please don't spend too much time on your back if it's not working for you. For people that are not as pregnant or are not as sensitive to that, being here a little longer really allows us to open up. It allows the spine to go long, the hamstrings to open, the neck to relax. You can think about relaxing your jaw. So there are benefits to holding this pose, but there's also risks to being on your back too long. So these are things that you're going to have to modify to serve you. Let's take a few breaths here and just ask yourself, what am I holding on to? And what happens if I let go? Am I really worried my knees are gonna fall? Am I really worried my tailbone is gonna fall? What if I just let it go?
With this, we will come to the side again. And here we'll do a stretch, keeping our shoulders square and our belly button square, and we'll just kind of scissor our legs. We're not going to lean back because we don't want to twist our middle, but this is just kind of, I don't know, making the letter R with your legs. And the real reason why we're doing this is to give our back a rest, so we're not on our back too much. In a non-prenatal class, we would have just spent the remainder of the class on our back, but for circulation reasons, prenatal will switch. So here we'll put one leg out, not twisting our shoulder back. This is normally can be a spinal twist, but we're not doing spinal twists pregnant because that's not safe. Safety is the most important thing. And then we'll just take a couple breaths here. When you feel ready, we'll come back up and we'll lean on our legs, but this time we'll twist our calves out and sort of try to sit between our legs. Take a deep breath in and out. We'll come back to our backs and we'll do a goddess pose. So goddess is on our back with our legs like in butterfly. It does feel really good to have a bolster or a pillow on your back. So reclined goddess. So when you have a bolster, it's more like this, almost like fish pose, but you're totally supported and comfortable. I like to teach without anything because the people who have all the bolsters tend to kind of know how to use them, and the people that don't have them, sometimes it's a little bit annoying to hear about all the fancy stuff. So all you need is you at the end of the day, and a lot of times less is more, and keeping things simple can be a stress-free way of going about things. So we'll talk about reclined goddess here. If it feels good, you can do cactus arms. Bring your arms above you. I kind of like the arms like this above because it sort of mirrors what the legs are doing. And we can just take a few breaths like this. You can think about what we said before. I'm teeming with life. And you can use your breath to imagine your hips opening up. And you can use your breath to imagine your spine dropping down and becoming flat with the mat. So we're just going to have a little bit of a quiet time as we conclude this class. And you can honor yourself and your practice and feel your knees dropping down to the ground and feel your back dropping down to the mat. So you breathe in your nose and exhale out your mouth. You can think of your breath as almost a circle without a starting point or an ending point. In and out, in and out. The pace of your breath you control, and the fluidity of the breath is what I'm guiding you on. Not how fast or slow to breathe, but to try to focus so much on your breath that the circle of breath doesn't seem to have a start or an end, doesn't seem to even be an oval anymore. It just seems to circulate automatically,
completely refreshing and revitalizing you and reminding you that regardless of your situation, pregnant or not, we are all teeming with life. When you feel ready, you can stay here, or you can bring your knees together, come to one side of the mat, wiggle your toes and fingers, and take a few breaths here, letting go of stress, honoring yourself in your practice. When you feel ready, you can come up, take easy seat. Our pose of the day, kind of shaking it out a little bit, not twisting, but breathing. Inhaling all that serves you, exhaling all that doesn't serve you. Feeling lighter and healthier and happier, knowing that you are taking steps to optimize yourself, your most important investment. Thank you for sharing your time with me, and have a blessed rest of your day. Namaste.